Colombia. In today's live, I'm going to discuss how dating has become a shit show, a dumpster fire, complete trash for everybody, including elite men. And I think this is one of the points in modernity that effectively unites most men. It's been getting worse and worse and worse each passing year, and things have been getting harder and harder. And so what I'm going to give you here is the current state of play, but I'm also going to trace why we're in this situation. I'm going to trace it back. I have a background in languages, really, and philosophy and history. So we're going to look into that as well. So you boys understand why this situation is not your fault. You have to deal with it. We have to deal with it. That's why I'm on this channel helping with this problem. But the situation was not created by you. This is not your fault. So it's very important you guys realize this, because I don't want people to get down on themselves. You may be on a bad run, etc., but it is actually not your fault, and I have some amazing solutions for you coming up. So, I'm Joseph. What qualifies me to make these pronouncements? So I'm Joseph. I'm an international entrepreneur. I have an international lifestyle. I speak 4 languages, 4.1. I've got 1/10 of Serbo-Croat in there, but I speak Spanish, French, Portuguese, and obviously English fluently. I've had a good dating life, I would say. I'm 40 years old. I've had a lot of experiences. I've dated women who, I dated a Vogue model. I dated an exotic dancer. Those are on the spicy side, very attractive girls, as well as, you know, your more conservative, intelligent types, doctors, lawyers, academics. Actually, the academic was not, she was intelligent, she wasn't conservative at all. She was wild. And yeah, dated women from, I think, at least 30 countries. I've tried to do a count back, and I've lived in 16 countries. So there you go, there's my CV as far as things go. You know, I was a guy who, in my early 20s, really, I had a long-term relationship in my teens. In my early 20s, I became single again, and I really was struggling going from kind of being a teenager in high school to actually transferring into the adult dating market. And I'm 40 years old, so 20 years ago, a lot of it was going on through nightclubs. Most of it was. And so that's where I started to index, but I found it an unbelievably difficult environment to operate in. How do I even have a conversation with these girls? What am I supposed to do? What is going on? I don't really like drinking, so I hardly drink. I've read the book The Game by Neil Strauss. That confused me even more because I didn't realize at the time, but it was, bless him, it was a book written by a nerd for nerds. And I wasn't really a nerd. I was just a smart guy who wanted to improve. But I wasn't a socially incompetent guy or anything like that. And so that book actually made me quite a bit worse. And I've seen that effect on other men of my generation. They started to run the Neil Strauss game, and it made them worse. Yeah, you may have had that experience with some of the modern dating gurus, etc. You start running some of their tips and tricks, and it makes you worse. It's why on this channel, I pride myself on having, despite being 40 years old, and despite, you know, being on the road and having another business, I still pride myself on putting up proper, real infields, which if you just look over my channel, you look back at the last 8 or 9 videos, you will see the 8 or 9 infield videos of me talking to girls here in Medellin, just in the street, and just basically doing street approach, getting numbers. Some very difficult approaches, some of these, to be quite honest with you, even as someone who's quite seasoned, just to show you boys what's possible, and also to show, if you know what you're doing, if you've got any experience, you probably look at it and go, I think this guy knows what he's doing here. You can't be getting this many closes with gorgeous girls half your age if you don't know what you're doing. So that's kind of my CV, so to speak, to speak from this. It's all right, it's all very well me telling you about my past, but when you see it you know, video after video, it does make it is validating, really. It's basically like, okay, the rest of the stuff I say, you can trust because you can see me doing it on camera, which is much harder. So with that said, there's my CV. There you go. Please like me. I'm seeking validation here. But no, the reason I'm saying it is just because there are a lot of fakes in the space. There really are, and anyone can come online and just start talking shit. Permiso. Me encanta su vestido.
Ay, muchas gracias.
Anyone can come online and start talking shit. There's actually a very small proportion of men who are capable of going out, consistently getting high quality infields in my third language. So there you go. But let's talk about it, boys. Why dating is difficult for even elite men. So, as effectively the monetization of this channel is, it's not community, it's not views. It's the small amount of highly elite men who come across the channel and go, wow, I'm having exactly the problems Joseph is talking about here. I like him, and I'd like to go and be coached by him. And so so guys come into me, professional guys, highly intelligent, often very attractive guys. I've put in the channel 9 out of 10 guys are having problems. And that's true, by the way, that's true. But that works on 2 levels. 90% of guys are having problems, and also guys who are full on 9, like the male version of a 9, he's a full 9, at least, maybe even like a 9.5. Guys who are, they've got great careers, they're genuinely good looking guys, like way above average, and got good social skills as well, and they're having problems, dude. They're having problems. And I would put myself in that bracket as well. I would say kind of career and interest wise, in terms of actual conversation skills with girls, I'd put myself as a 10, to be honest with you. Sorry, that's not very humble, but I actually would. There's a lot of times I'm halfway through a set with a girl, or maybe on a date, and she's like enraptured. So that's a good sign. That's a strong point. Looks wise, I'm pretty decent as well. Yeah, you know, I will be starting my Armani contract in a few weeks' time. But looks wise, I'm pretty decent as well. So I knew I had a decent offer. I always knew I had a decent offer, even when I was young and actually had hair. Oh my God. And I actually struggled. I really struggled to bridge the gap. Firstly, it was getting over the fact. Firstly, just starting to understand female psychology. And because in the modern world, just looks and money, they really don't make much difference in most countries, because women have their own money and they don't respond to looks in the way that you would think they would. Unless you're at charts and she's like a 7, then she might approach you, possibly in a club. But in daytime, no girl who's ever approaching you in the daytime. It's never happened. Unless you're literally famous, right? People use social media. I don't know how big an account you need for that. I don't know. But for me, I kind of just do what I do on social media. It's not really, I just want it not to hurt me, basically. It's not really my thing. So I've always been an in-person kind of guy. And I found the clubs very difficult to operate in. I eventually, through hanging out with a bunch of other guys, I eventually came to embrace it. I eventually came to even love it. And I eventually even had my own club promotion for 4 years as well. So it kind of took on its own thing, because back in those days, it was like the club's everything. It's where the friends are, it's where the contacts are, it's where the parties are, it's where the good music is, and it's where all the hot girls are. It's where it all goes down. Yeah, it's, unfortunately, people nowadays, they don't get what club life was like, and that is done. It will never come back. It's never coming back to the same level. If you you've been to a festival, if you imagine a festival atmosphere every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even a lot of Tuesdays and Wednesdays as well, even some Mondays, believe it or not, it was like that, man. Party people, you know, this was Britain, like the noughties, basically. It was really cool. It was really cool. And so I adapted to that, and eventually, you know, got my success in that. A lot of that was through the guys that I was actually around. I learned so much from the guys. I just kind of absorbed it, and they were more natural. But I was able to observe, and I would just kind of try things out. I go, I've seen this guy do this. That looks a bit crazy. Let me try that. Oh, it actually worked. And so I started to incorporate all of these different things into my approach, and eventually it literally became who I was. It became my personality. So that's how I got a lot of my success. At age 37, during the pandemic, I was traveling around the world. I was recently single, and I realized, well, first of all, I can't go to clubs because this was just after the pandemic. I was solo traveling through Eastern Europe. I was like, realistically, I'm not going to be doing much in clubs, am I? Realistically. No, this is Medellin, mate. It's Medellin. And so I was traveling through Eastern Europe. The light's not great, is it? Yeah. I was traveling through Eastern Europe. I realized I was just not equipped to operate with clubs and so on there. So I thought, okay, let's try some daytime approach. Did it a little bit solo, and eventually found a coach, a guy who trained me up in it. And then also joined the mastermind as well. So a lot of the best guys in the world in this particular obscure pursuit of going over to girls in the daytime and getting the numbers. A lot of the best guys in the world are actually my friends, which is pretty cool. So the reason I'm very confident that we're ahead of everybody is because, let's say I go out and do 500 approaches. I notice one thing. I share that with these boys. They apply it. I go out with them. They're doing something, and I go, oh, I've not seen that. I apply it. Unless you're in a group like that, this was a developing discipline, so no one really knows how it works. Now I believe I've codified it into a very easily repeatable system, and that's in large part because I'm one of the front runners in this group, and we really share notes on this stuff. So the last few years I've been applying my training cold approach. I've got hundreds and hundreds of numbers, been on, I don't know how many dates, it's probably around 100 dates, I don't know, to be honest, in the last 3 years. Maybe more, maybe less. I mean, it's not really, those are big numbers, to be honest, but it's not really about the numbers, it's about what you convert and the quality of women that you get. Right, so I'm very glad that I invested the time and energy into daytime cold approach. It's why I promote it on this channel, is because it's a really interesting, new, open area, particularly for guys they know they've got a good offer. They know good looking guys who've got good social skills, got a little bit of money in the bank. If that's you and you're currently frustrated, stuck at home, swiping on the apps, really struggling, especially if you're in your 30s, most women in their mid-20s or early 20s, they're just going to put 30 as an upper limit, so you're not even going to get access to the baddies that you want. Let's be real, you didn't work all your fucking life to become a top engineer, to become a top doctor, to become high up in your profession. You didn't do that so you can marry a 40-year-old. Give me a fucking break, yeah? So I certainly didn't. Never mind 40, I don't really even approach girls in their 30s on purpose. Now there are some 30-year-olds who are fucking fit, so I approach them, but I normally think they're 25. So I just go on instinct, right? So yeah, if that's you, my friend, if you have a similar mindset, there is a whole world of opportunity out there. All you need is the skills and the support and the right mindset to get you from walking past the attractive girl in the mall or in the street to actually going up to her and actually engaging with her. And with the right skills and the right approach, I can get you closing like left, right and center, to be honest. By closing, I mean number closing. And then from there, all of a sudden, you've got a dozen numbers in your phone book, and before you know it, you've got a really attractive 25-year-old girlfriend. It's happened to several of my students. And obviously some people, this is not an equal playing field, I'm afraid. Some people have to do more work than others. It just is what it is. I don't really have any sympathy, to be honest, because I had to do a lot of work on myself during the club days. I had to really push myself to get what I got. and other guys got the similar or more than me relatively easily. Yeah. But then there were guys who didn't push themselves, who maybe even had a great offer as well, or similar to me, and they just did fucking nothing. So, you know, it is what it is, boys. It is what it is. There's some things I do better than other guys. You know, so like me learning languages, for example, and maybe I've got a bit more talent than another person. I don't really know, because I also put a lot of hard work into that. But anyway, to get back on track, yeah, that's my particular story. I think there's a lot of guys out there who are very premium guys who are just struggling like fuck. And it's almost a dirty little secret that you don't want to talk about. You know, how's your dating life? And you're kind of like, oh yeah, I'm just not really focused on it right now. What you mean is, I'm not getting any matches. I don't have the first fucking clue what to do. That's what you mean, if you've been honest. And that's okay. That's the situation for like half the attractive guys out there. It's a bit noisy down here. So let's just talk about what the current paradigm is. And this is where, strap in if you're still with me at this point on the live. Strap in, because this is where I go from a guy just talking about dating and sharing my experiences and talking about my experiences assisting other guys with this amazing opportunity of daytime cold approach. Something that's the really smart guys are already capitalizing on. Because this is where we're going to go from this to a much deeper and more profound analysis of the current state of play. So I'm currently in Medellin, Colombia, right? And what does everyone think about Colombia, right? Latinos, wild party animals, you know, the guys are super confident, the girls are, the paisa, she's super, you know, feminine, sexy, etc. Yeah, they must have no problems, these guys. They must have it all sorted. Allow me to disabuse you of those ideas. Colombia in 100 years will not exist. That is how bad the situation is here. That is how bad the mating and dating situation is here. In 100 years, this place won't exist. It won't exist. That is literally how bad it is. So it's even worse here than Europe, actually. The guys who come here, who are like, you know, the passport bros and so on, what is not being discussed? And I've lived in the Dominican Republic, and there's all, you know, the American bros and stuff coming down here. What is not being discussed is most of these guys are going pay for play. Yeah, you're fucking prostitutes, guys. You're like, oh yeah, the girls are amazing here. They're prostitutes, dude. They're $50 prostitutes. Yeah, they're incredibly fit for $50, but it's a prosti. Yeah, you paid for it. Yeah. Guys have had good times. Guys do have good times on apps, but apps are extremely dangerous here for foreigners. I mean, extremely dangerous. First of all, I would say 70% of the girls, because I set up Tinder a couple of weeks ago, because I'm a dating guy, let's run it as an experiment. I've run my daytime stuff. That's been good. But let's run it as an experiment. And I would say about 70% of the women on there are prostitutes. And then the other 30%, I mean, I'm not motivated, to be honest, because it's heinous. The other 30%, if they're not prosties, like, it's fucking dangerous, man. Guys are getting drugged every single week in this city, taken up to the hills up there, and having the absolute fuck beaten out of them, getting themselves robbed, etc. So the whole thing is just fucking dangerous. So if you're a foreign guy, you think this country is like the place of your dreams. If you like $50 prostitutes, awesome. This would be one of my lowest ranking countries for dating. I'm going to come on to this in a moment. So yeah, don't think that Latin America's got all the answers. It's just going to be a free ride. Maybe in like 1990 that was the case. The current birth rate in Medellin, this is where this gets deeper, is 0.9. That's the same as South Korea. Yeah, which is to put that in perspective, what that means is it's such a bad stat. What that means is, for every 100 Colombians in for every 100 Medellin people alive today, in 3 generations, there will be 3 to 6 That's what 0.9 birth rate means. It means people are not having fucking children here. Yeah? And you can see it, man. You can fucking see it in the streets. It's full of old people. Yes, there are young people around, but there's a fuck ton of old people here. And this is, I would actually describe this as almost a low desire city. Almost a low desire city. So I'm going to come on to this now. This is a larger point that's happening in the Western world. We're in a low desire environment. Yeah? And you think, oh, Joseph, you're just making excuses. I'm not. Like, the amount of action I was, like generating the first month here, because I know what I'm doing, right? But I am by far an exception in this. Again, it sounds arrogant. If you knew how much I put into it, it wouldn't sound arrogant. It would just be a simple fact. It's like the guy who says, yeah, I make the top 1% earnings. I like, oh, what an arrogant bastard. And you go, well, yeah, he works 70 hours a week for 20 years. It's like, well, yeah, of course, I would hope you make something pretty decent. That's kind of the, it's not that I put in more hours, I put in hours every week, and I'm extremely aggressive in the way that I go for stuff. So my own dating life has been pretty good here. But I look around, apart from me and my wing, I have not seen a single guy doing any daytime approach. I don't even see that many couples. Honestly, what I see is it's the same as the West. I see a lot of the narcissistic women going around in spandex doing selfies, and I see guys just retreating, having no fucking clue what's going on. The only exception to that is the dance floor, where, to be fair, they do have that one tradition which saves them. You can go and party and you get yourself on the dance floor, dance with some girls, you probably meet someone. Yeah, that's, I can see that's what's going on, because that's what I used to do. Yeah, so Latin America is, as many countries are as fucked as the West. I think this is more fucked than the West, to be honest, because at least in the West, there are people talking about this at scale, like people like Elon Musk, the channel Base Camps as well, Malcolm on there and his wife. They're very concerned about it. They've set up some interesting charities to assist with this. So this is why it's not just about dating, dude. You boys think it's just about getting laid. I'm worried about the future of civilization. Do you understand? Unless we're at 2.0 is minimum. Even that won't sustain the economy, by the way. The global economy is going to collapse, yeah? If not, maybe not in our generation, but within 50, 60 years, it's untenable. And the only solution that is being posited is to continuously take people from the third world to effectively use them as slaves at the bottom end of the Western economies. Yeah? How's that going to work if you're Colombia, though? Where are you going to get people from? People aren't going to come from the Congo to Colombia. Yeah, they're going to go to US or Europe. Yeah, so this place really is totally fucked. And they're very, the Colombians are very docile, extremely docile. It's a weird place, man, weird place. So, yeah, not at all what I was expecting. I've lived in the Dominican Republic for 3 years. I've lived in Brazil. This place is not at all what I was expecting. And even the way they do crime, man, it's like, it's not the way you want to be robbed. I want to be robbed by proper fucking gangsters who come up to me with a fucking something, right? Make me a proper offer. That's not what they do. They drug people so they can't move and then just beat them up a little bit and then steal all their shit. It's a very verminous way of robbing people. It's a very passive way of robbing people, actually. Cunning. So, yeah, I'm out of here in 10 days' time, and I would come back, to be honest, but I would come back with the expectation these are definitely not my people. I'm just here for the nice weather. So yeah, it's a bit of a rant on Colombia. So let's just analyze the entire situation. So if you're still with me, let's just analyze the entire situation. Let's go in the West, for example. What has actually happened? Yeah, we have cratering birth rates across the whole Western world. I've been looking into this for 5 or 6 years. So when Musk started talking about it, I was like, finally someone's talking about it. Yeah, the biggest So there was a post-war correction. So there's been a declining birth rate for 200 years, which has coincided very simply with increased prosperity and most significantly with the movement of labour from being mostly in the house. I labour in the field, my wife labours in the house, and we just have our children. It's fairly easy. We don't need to have like complex child support arrangements, or not child support, childcare arrangements. It's very easy. You're also in a village as well. It's very easy to have at least 3 children. It's very easy. What else are you going to do as well? Like literally, what the fuck else are you going to do in like the 1600s? Nothing. If you're a peasant, you're just going to have children. Yeah, and as just human nature being as it is, you know, of course that's going to give you a fulfilling life. People had shorter lifespans as well. It was more conservative. You wanted to have sex, you got married, you had sex, you didn't have any condoms, and you got girls pregnant. You got your wife pregnant, and that was it. Then you become a dad. Okay, so that was life for the last 300,000 years or so. There's been some interesting rises and falls of different civilizations, and the end point of most civilizations usually is like uncontrollable wars, which we've already had a lot of them in the 20th century. Very costly, cratering birth rates, and then also like it's also like women getting out of control and transsexualism. There's some weird things that happened in even in like Rome. It's interesting, but those are markers. But a cratering birth rate, it's you cannot recover from it as a civilization. So back in the day, 300-400 years ago, here was a game. Oh, hello, Lucy, that's nice to meet you. Yeah, you live up the roads. Oh, nice. Should we go for a walk? There's fields just down here. Do you want to go for a walk? Oh yeah. There you go. There's my wife. 3 months later, I'm proposing to her. There you go. That's my wife. That's the extent of your game back in the day, right? What a time to be alive. I'm actually not joking either. That was like the extent of my granddad's game with my grandma. He met her on the bus. And over time, birth rates have declined with urbanization, cities, and the movement of labour from more and more. This is specifically after World War II. It really accelerated. The movement of labour more away from the house and even away from the community into large corporations. Corporations have a massive amount to answer for here, a massive amount. And if they want to fucking exist, quite frankly, they should be making serious provisions for families. Otherwise, like, they're going to be responsible for the downfall of civilization. Yeah, it's not that it's not even, this is not an anti-capitalist thing. This is just a fact. You send a woman out to work for most corporations. They're mostly bullshit. Let's also be honest. They're mostly bullshit. Most of the economy is bullshit. Like, unless you're selling actually necessary medical care, unless you're producing electricity or water or building a house or selling fridges, most of the economy is complete fucking bullshit. I don't need economy is total bullshit, unnecessary nonsense, right? Yeah. And so there's obviously Smith also predicted this as well, Adam Smith. There will be a proliferation in bullshit as time goes on. And, you know, like a lot of these companies, what's the big advertising one? I forget. There's a lot of, anyways, women working in advertising, working in bullshit, right? And it gives them a feeling of pseudo empowerment or whatever. A legal profession and so on, whatever, fine. So they're out working away and away from the household, and apart from for a few elite women who literally understand this path because they've been prepared for it. Maybe their mother did it and their grandmother did it. There have actually always been women who are prepared for this type of path, as in an elite career alongside childbirth. 4% population, not even. The majority is just not. It is not. They understand. Immediately afterwards, and then my sister was also in an accident as well. So most people are actually fucking accidents, right? Let's just get over that one. So the pill massively reduced the birth rate. and the other corresponding technology, which has killed more human beings than I think every war in human history, which is an insane statistic. It's killed, I think, over 1 billion human beings is abortion. I think it's like 2 billion human beings. It's one of the most heinous technologies ever introduced. I think it is the most heinous technology. Cigarettes are nothing compared to abortion, right? So these two technologies were introduced at the same time, and what happened? The birth rate shot down to about 1.2 by the late 70s. Governments are fucking aware of this, and instead of saying, well, should we maybe, we probably should illegalize abortion, and even the pill, should we make that a bit harder to get? Because there's a knock-on effect in the culture. Oh, I'll get pregnant, I'll just have an abortion. If you actually see what an abortion is, it's a disgusting process, man. Anyway, these technological changes have an effect on the population, on the behavior of the population. So in addition to that, so that's the 1960s, cratering birth rates. It's no coincidence that both Europe and the US changed their migration policies once their birth rate drops to 1.2. Yeah, no shit, they changed their migration policies. Yeah, so people don't make this connection. The reason why Europe has mass immigration, the single two reasons why, are abortion and the pill. You take out those two technologies, you don't need mass migration. We never needed it, yeah, ever. Actually, before mid-20th century, Europeans were some of the most fertile people in the world. Right, so those technologies came in. Yeah, so all these questions linked together. I don't think there's another dating coach who makes that link, to be honest with you. But I look at these things, it's just what I'm fascinated by, the trajectory of the human species and all of our different cultures. So you as a man born in the 2000s, born in the 90s, born in the 80s, you come into a scene that you had no part of, which has been running for a long time, yeah? And women obviously are sexual creatures. Their vagina and clitoris are designed for penetration and sexual intercourse and so on. So that's always in our favor, right, as guys? But they want the same thing that we want, basically. But we then get even further complications, and we get basically a kind of marketplace where women are choosing increasingly based on sort of sexual selection as opposed to a broader holistic selection, because the culture is becoming a bit more wild and promiscuous, and so you're getting some outsized winners in the sexual marketplace. So the good-looking, smooth guys, that mostly the socially confident guys, the guys who just used to fucking go for it, became the big winners. And then you also had a lot of guys who didn't really understand, who struggled, bless them. And probably I was one of those guys as well at one point. It was no longer about your holistic offer, it was mostly about how much you could excite women. And that's my generation. I'm 40 years old. So we had to learn to titillate and excite the ladies, which is, I probably don't come across like it on this channel, but that's you just kind of had to learn that. And so that's, if you wanted to have any sex, basically, you had to learn a lot more about female psychology than back in the day. When I think of, for example, my dad, he was a little bit of a player back in his day. He's 5'5" with a moustache, and because he played football and went swimming, he was like an absolute Chad, because he wasn't even ripped, he was just a bit sporty, compared to me, I've been doing fucking weights since I was 15. Compared to all the guys now walking around like fucking orcs, guys taking steroids, looking like absolute gigachads, who actually also know female psychology as well. Guys back in the day, the 70s and stuff, they just had to fucking show up and go for it, right? That's pretty much all they had to do. Change has just been insane, dude, insane. And so we've come out into this new world, different selection processes going on. If you're middle class, you probably have noticed a lot of the girls in the West they're just too spoiled, I'm a business owner. Basically, I eat what I kill. This channel is my second business. It's a passion project. But my main business, which I'm in day in, day out, is a fucking grind. And, you know, I see what some of these people are doing in their fucking desk jobs, in their corporate jobs, earning a lot of money. It's laughable, dude. It's laughable. And then also like the girls going, it's just more spoiled basically. If you're a business owner, I would honestly recommend dating a girl from a developing country who understands the value of money, and or an elite girl who is actually like very hard working herself from a developed country. Those are your options. But just some spoiled midwit, they just drag you down, they waste your fucking time. They don't get it. That's one of my biggest disqualifications. If I can see a girl's going to be a drag on my time and energy and resources, she's out fast. Basically, as soon as I bang her, I'm just getting ready to go. It's my biggest turn off actually. A girl who's extractive, fuck off. You know, if you're not going to help me, get the fuck. I would advocate any serious business owner to have that The other thing that allows me to have that absolutely ruthless mindset is I know that I can replace the girl. I've got an international lifestyle. I do cold approach. I can replace her. Maybe in a week, maybe in a day, maybe in a month, a couple of months, I can replace her, basically. A girl who's a genuine asset is harder to replace. Much harder, in fact. So those are the girls you want to keep around, basically. Consider marrying and impregnating them. So yeah, guys, the 80s and 90s, babies, coming out into this whole wild minefield. And there were big winners and big losers, definitely, generationally. I was around a lot of guys who were big winners, and I kind of became one of them in a way. I never identified as one. I think it's because it took me a while to get it, whereas they just seemed to get it straight away. So I never, even maybe in some cases where I maybe even got more results than them, I never kind of identified as it. It's interesting. But yeah, there were guys like, for example, a guy I used to live with, he would literally have a different girl every single day. And people like, oh, it's not real, you know, the Playboy. It is real. It's real. Like, oh, hey, Susie, I'm in the kitchen. It's just the next one day after day. I was actually at a party once where he fucked, he took one girl upstairs, a black girl, fucked her, came back downstairs, had a cigarette, took a white Polish girl to a different room, fucked her in a different room. And we were just like, me and a friend were just watching it. We were like, damn, whew, that was pretty wild. I don't even know how you could be asked, but anyway, he was in his mid-20s at the time. So the massive winners and massive losers, and I'd probably describe myself as like the upper middle class in that group. Like I did pretty well for myself, but I was around enough people who were like, as I say, insanely successful. They've got a different girl there every single day. Yeah, you know, I'm around enough people like that to realize, okay, I know what my capacities are, and yeah, I just did what I did really. Get away from these fucking dogs. So guys, yeah, the next phase was obviously dating apps, and that's really, again, this is the kind of final, dating apps plus social media has created an environment in which, I'm giving you the whole narrative here, has created an environment in which we're now in a factually low desire environment in many countries, meaning that first of all the women become unattainable. Average women become unattainable for average men, and yeah, it's not good. It's not good. You've also got women being brainwashed by liberalism, liberal education, which I know intimately well, the level of brainwashing that goes on there, into you need to do a career woman until you're 40. I'm 40. My friends who are career women from back in the university days and stuff, they're 2 drinks away from a complete mental breakdown. They have to. It's weird because it's so obvious to me how fucked they are, and I think they're not even willing to see it. Yeah, it's disturbing to see that actually. Or like women who've had 1 child and then they're like infertile and stuff, and it's like they're moaning about it. It's like, yeah, this biology does not care about liberal ideology or your marketing career. Biology is the ultimate tyrant. It does not give a fuck. Yeah. And so we're now in this situation where average guys, I don't even really know, actually don't even fully know what to say to average guys, actually. But even very good guys are having a tough time. And so, yeah, this is the state of play. What you're finding is a lot of mid women, just 7s and above, the level of narcissism, I think it's brought out this really disgusting element of the female psyche, which is narcissism. It's really disgusting. My mum comments on this actually, because she's in her 60s, and she was brought up in a different time, conservative time, working class England, you know, and if anything they were a bit less confident than they should have been. But she looks at these girls taking selfies of themselves in restaurants, average fucking girls, who literally, like, they're barely better looking than my fucking mom, who's like in her mid-60s. Average girls acting like celebrities. Yeah, and it's not just the US, man, it's spread everywhere. And you're going, fuck me. What perception does this person have of herself? It's like me, right? I wanted to be a professional footballer. And if I just stayed playing for my school team, I'd have thought I was fucking Ronaldinho. And then I go to start to play in better teams like local leagues and then academy and stuff like that. And eventually you realize I'm just another player who's all right, basically. For all the training and all the skills you're developing, you know, I'm just another guy who's all right. There's guys here, fucking absolute freaks that you wouldn't even believe are human. And even some of them aren't going to make it into the pro leagues. And so, yeah, it's that kind of thing where I don't know if they're not aware of the, I don't know, they're just getting worshipped for essentially no reason, right? Jay, what's up, mate? Jay, what's up? So that's the current state of play in terms of, yeah, girls used to have to go out to get an ego boost. They had to actually go somewhere physical. Now they can do that online. And women are really the great conformists and attention seekers. But the combination of conformity and attention seeking has kind of created this, it's not a good situation, is it? Realistically, this is an awful situation. So the psychological profile has changed. Mids are actually getting worshipped. And then with apps, you know, there's the whole thing with apps where it's like a few guys are basically fucking all the girls. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's actually true. Yeah, it's statistically proven. So it's not like that's something where you go, should we even be suing these companies? Like, look at the civilizational effects of this. You can't really blame them. You know, some of these girls are like, they're getting with a guy who's like a model or something, and they're like a 6 because he just wants to bang. Yeah, newsflash, men don't really care. Will basically bang, especially in our 20s and early 30s, even mid 30s. And so they get a false impression. We know the whole story, right, with that. Everybody knows the whole story with that. And so you've got all of these factors. You've got corporations, you've got the movement into cities, you've got abortion, the pill, you've got liberal brainwashing, and then you've got apps on top of it, and then you've got also social media. And you get to a situation where men are in a situation of learned passivity. That is where men are, is learned passivity now. They're just completely giving up, right? And I've seen this with even really good guys who are making like 300-400k a year, who are objectively fairly decent looking. Their confidence in the fucking toilet. Yeah, maybe for some other reasons as well, but all of these cultural things have a massive role to play. They play a massive role. And yeah, dude, you think Latin America is much better? It fucking ain't. Dominican Republic is, but Colombia is atrocious. These are the most sub-beta males I have ever seen. In this middle class part of the city around here, Laureles, it is the most beta. I think they don't even know what alpha beta is. It's the most passive beta shit I've ever seen in my life. All of these guys, like with their girlfriends and stuff, walking around their girlfriends, these little horrible little dogs. I think I've already talked about it on a different live. That's your life, mate. Instead of having children, you're living in a 2-bedroom apartment with your girlfriend who tells you how to dress, walking a couple of dogs around. Well done. You're the Colombian alpha male, the Latino alpha. Yeah, that's what we're all expecting coming here. I'm like ready to go. I'm like, get off the plane. I'm like, right, let's fucking show these motherfuckers what's going on. I get motivated a lot when I come to new places. Me and Ephraim, we just completely ran the streets everywhere we went, totally unopposed. The only people who gave me any fucking trouble in my first week was a couple of lesbians who tried to sabotage one of my dates, which is quite funny. On the Chiva, on the party bus, they were trying to even get other guys to. They must have really disliked me. They were trying to get other guys to grind the girl that who basically invited me to their party. They were trying to get other guys to grind her. Weird, womanish, lesbian shit. But they're the only people who've given me any trouble at all. But one thing I will say, so the first month here, we were just attacking, got loads and loads of dates, and I realised the girls I was actually ending up on dates with, this was interesting, were all not from this region. They were from different regions. They weren't from Medellin specifically, they were from different regions, so they're outsiders. This is how much of a nerd I am. I even looked up the birth rates in some of the regions. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. This is someone who is like genetically sexually motivated, right? And also girls from Venezuela as well, which is a very base country. Now, it's some of the most conservative girls in the world, but also very fun as well. By far and away the best girls I've met here, by miles. Literally. Like, give me 3 Venezuelan chicks over 30 Colombian chicks any day of the week. Because as Colombians, 90% of them are going to give you fucking problems, dude. I wouldn't want any part of a girl from Colombia. And, now that I've realized the people I know from Colombia who don't live here, they don't come back and they hate it for a reason. I've actually realized why. Yeah. The chicks from Venezuela, very, very base. I remember talking about hyperinflation with this girl who's she's a singer actually. I shared it with the boys in my group. She was on TV the other day. She sent me the video. She was on TV the other day. 29-year-old singer, and she escaped Venezuela. Obviously, she's here doing different shows and things and performing and pursuing a career. And she was one of the street approaches that I did. You can see it on the channel. And but yeah, she's talking to me about hyperinflation when we go out for a drink and stuff. So these girls, like, they know what the fuck is up. They're much more switched on than the Western girls they're just too brainwashed. And actually, all 3 of the Venezuelan girls have spoken about Venezuela. They're like, whatever. They're like. Yeah, very interesting. Definitely not commies for sure. Definitely not woke. So those would be my. If you're looking for like Latinas, I would actually I'd even plot a fucking mission to Venezuela. Quite honestly, I know it's potentially a bit dicey, but so is Colombia. So yeah, anyway, these guys are also in that learn passive mode. The exception to that would be all of the ghetto barrios. Low income places that are genuinely low income, like globally, they always have higher birth rates because they're just kind of like, maybe they're just looser people, just don't really give a fuck. I don't know. But there is a correlation between higher income and low birth rates in general. So the very low income areas, they have a bit higher birth rate. In Medellin, which means it's above 0. Laureles, I swear to God, it's got to be about 0.1 because the city as a whole is 0.9. This area is ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous. So yeah, my point is this is not just affecting Westerners. And these people have got no motivation or understanding. They don't have the drive to get out of this situation. So it's very nice right now. Like in terms of the place, it's finally developed into something like a half decent physical, electrical infrastructure. But this is going to be very short-lived. They don't have even 100 years on its current trajectory, and they're not even talking about it, and they won't talk about it until it's too late. by which point they'll probably have to import like half of Venezuela and Bolivia or something. I don't know how they'll keep it going. And then guys in the West, yeah, it's a clusterfuck, and learned passivity is the norm. And this is actually, I'm going to give you guys 2 ways out of this. There's kind of 2 routes you've got to go down, essentially. The first route is just kind of like sociopathic, you know, what should we call this? What was it? Dark triad qualities, basically manipulating and just doing anything you can just to get laid, effectively. That's one route to go down. It is effective, the dark triad stuff, right? Girls actually get turned on by it as well. Tell them you can't come out tonight. You're starting your serial killing practice, whatever, right? The dark triad stuff, that will get you laid, and it's basically some of the stuff that is talked about in the manosphere actually is effective. I won't go into all of it, but some of it actually is effective for sexually exciting women. Getting yourself in the gym. I'm not going to go into all the details in this video. Some of the stuff I can't even talk about, to be honest. Some of the stuff you can do in clubs, I can't even really talk about it online. It's not like you know, it's not. There's no moral questions about it. It's just a bit too racy to talk about what you can do in the nightclub scene. So there's that angle where we're just going down the sexual route. Then there's the other angle, and you probably should do that for a while. But then there's the other angle which you're going to come to, which is you're even going to start to go down that route, and you realize this actually is not a good investment of time. And it's getting a worse investment with every passing year, because that game is getting harder to play. Because frankly, the girls don't even want it as much. The girls in a lot of places don't even want it as much. UK is actually still quite good. Believe it, people complain about the UK. I think the UK is quite highly sexed. Every time I go back to the UK, I notice because I'm coming in with my energy, it excites the girls. There are some places though, you go and it's like, these are not very highly sexed people. They're low sexuality people. But even if you are doing quite well at a certain point in time, the fact is most people will not do well at that game. Most people will fail at that game. And then even if you do well, you'll start to look at the output versus payback, and you may start to think, hold on, this actually is not really worth my time. So the other route out is finding wifey, wife game. And that's kind of the long-term game that I actually want guys to play, is, you know, basically my plan is that so that my children and grandchildren can have this massive network of people that I started like 3 generations ago. The brat bub. Vetting for a wife is slightly different. There's different things you need to think about. It's not just whether she's fit or not. In fact, attractiveness is actually honestly very relevant. She needs to be fit enough to sexually arouse you and for you to feel pretty happy walking around with her. Yeah? If you've got an ego, you need to feel somewhat happy with a decent girl on your arm. But it's the quality of your relationship will not increase in proportion to her hotness. It really won't. And yeah, also if you're wanting, like, the girls are Instagram model or something, all these fucking models, they want to have one child. Get to fuck, man. I can't be arsed with that. If I'm going to stay with somebody and move and develop something, I want to have at least, realistically I want 3, but at least a couple. See if we could break my friend Luis's record. He's got 10. My friend in Dominican, he's in his 70s. The Uber Alpha's got 10. But then he's got his whole, like his family, they've got their whole network swept across Europe. It's pretty fucking cool. And for that, you need a collaborator. You need a girl who's intelligent, who's motivated, who's not extractive, who does not want to purely extract resources, time and energy from you, who actually wants to help you. And the way to test this type of girl is start giving her little tasks to do. Maybe something domestic, maybe get her to do something. Can you book this for me? And if a girl's good, she'll find you the best fucking deal. Women are really good at that, right? And that's the way to test if she's someone to go forward with, and see how she does with it. And yeah, if you find someone who's a viable partner, my advice is to actually begin to move forward, because I don't think in the next 10 years I don't see the Playboy life getting any easier in the next 10 years. Yeah, somewhere like Colombia, for example, I've noticed this last month, I've been getting a lot of numbers, and I'm saying I'm getting my first, maybe it's the energy difference from when I was with my wing, but the first month, I was getting like 90% texting me back. Now it's at like 20. So maybe it must be that I'm showing up slightly differently. But there are a few where I'm like, that was a nailed on approach. There was one I did last week. I approached a girl, she was a warm up. She came, I said, I'm going to Starbucks. I see, nice to meet you, you look great, see you in a bit. She came back into Starbucks to give me her number. So I messaged her later that night. She didn't message back. I was like, that's honestly strange. Like, just from an objective perspective, that's strange. She had a good body as well, like, which is often a sign, if a girl's got an athletic, curvaceous body, it's often a sign they usually got high hormone levels. So, like, it's just kind of weird. I was like, oh, interesting. And there's been a few episodes like that where I'm like, there seems to be a bit low desire. You know, like, I'm giving you an open goal as a woman here. And maybe it's cold approach, so I don't have much leverage, you don't know me. But I'm also thinking about it logically, going, there's no other guys here approaching. People don't want to meet on apps. Unless you've got someone good in your social circle, I'm definitely worth a text. From your point of view, if you've got any desire in you, I'm at least worth a text. Yeah. So I don't actually take it personally, really. It sounds like that's a cope, but I'm messaging so many girls that it's like, the ones that don't message, I'm like, that's kind of weird. It's weird, you know, you would run after me to give me your number. But anyway, and yeah, this to me is a low desire society. Medellin's a low desire society. My neighbor said here, he's like, these people are fucking zombies. He's been here 5 years. And I couldn't, zombie is the word. It's the word. Strange place. If I come back here, it will be either to hang out with one of the Venezuelan girls or to bring a girl back. I mean, it would be a nice place to come for, like, to get out of the Dominican for a couple of months. The weather's very refreshing here. So, yeah, I've definitely had a good time overall. I'm glad actually I stayed the extra 6 weeks. I was gonna bounce to Serbia after 4, but the first month was so mental. I was like, let me just roll on for another month. And I'm glad I stayed because it's given me a more realistic picture on the country. Because what often happens, your first month is always a honeymoon period. And the girls in you, especially if you go to a place with a certain ethnic group, like the Antiochians are a certain ethnic group, they seem so fit at first, right? It's just novelty. And the city is actually quite beautiful as well. The more time has gone on, the more I've realized, oh my God, this place is totally fucked. It's completely screwed. Like the stuff I mentioned about the birth rate, the complacency, they don't get it either. They don't get it. There's also a lot of dishonesty as well here. I said to Ephraim in the first week, I was like, don't trust a fucking Latino as far as you can throw them. They're all fucking dishonest. And that is still my default position, I'm afraid. I've had some good experiences, I would say, but that has to be your default because otherwise you get taken advantage of. I wouldn't think that in Serbia. I wouldn't think that in the UK necessarily. Definitely wouldn't think that in Macedonia, Romania, unless they were gypsy. The default position is caution here. So the amount of dishonesty is just fucking ridiculous. So yeah, the good thing about staying the extra time was, okay, I can definitely tick Colombia off my list of places I would never want to set up here on a serious level. The culture is just way too fucked for me. Way too fucked. Yeah, it's something guys definitely have a fantasy about Colombia. I like people where I know where their character begins and ends. So like a Northern English girl, She might drink too much. She might be a bit crude, but I know where her character begins and ends. Yeah, a Serbian girl, totally different, much more to my preference. I know where her character begins and ends. To an extent, same with Russians, although they're a bit blurry around the edges. Dominican girls, I know them back to front, and like, that's the group I know the most, and I know where they begin and end. Brazilians are like probably too open, I would say. That's like, they don't begin and end. They're just so open to anything all the time. That's their culture is like, I'd say almost pathologically open. It's bizarre. But Colombians, this is the God's honest truth. You don't have a fucking clue where they begin. You don't have a fucking clue where they end. You have got no idea. None at all. None at all. Some of the stuff I hear has actually surprised me. Some of the girls who I've approached and stuff in one of the areas, we didn't realize at the time. We're approaching these girls. They're all fucking escorts. Didn't even realize. And these girls are like, they look like middle class students. I'm not even joking. That's kind of disturbing. Didn't approach on Saturday again. Just nice looking girl. I'm like, what are you doing here? She's like, I'm working. I was like, for fuck's sakes. That means she's a prostitute, basically. And that's not even the worst part, though. The worst part is the ones that, like, you know, they've already got a boyfriend and their plan is to drug you, and they're just chilling, like, nicely smiling at you. In a way, it's like, I think they're the best liars I've ever seen. I think they're the best liars I've ever seen. I've never seen people who can lie like this. So, yeah, a very strange place, man. Strange place. So maybe I probably haven't done a great job of selling the country, but that is my honest takeaway. And I think I've interacted, like, I speak fluent Spanish. I've lived in Latin America for nearly 4 years. I've interacted more than practically anybody would in the first 10 weeks of them staying in a country. Like you wouldn't, it's not even normal how much, like me and Ephraim on the first week, we're going out doing 10 approaches like every day. That's not a normal amount of interaction for a newcomer. So we got a very, very accelerated process. And even since then, I've still been kind of progressing, you know, doing things. So it's my honest takeaway. I think I did everything that was to be done here within the first 2 weeks, to be honest. One of the best nights out of the last decade was my first Saturday night here, which was fucking unbelievable. I'll put that on a medley video before I go away. But yeah, this is what happens. You come to a more reasoned conclusion about a place after you've stayed there for a while. That's always going to be the case. And definitely for me, for Medellin, it was a big about turn. Once I started to get to know the people more, I was like, oh my God, there is a lot of weird. Plus, it seems like that the decent people have been bludgeoned into passivity as well. So there's a bit of a review of Medellin. There's a bit of a review on the way I see the current state of play for guys in the dating market 2026. If you're struggling, it's not you. It's not just you, okay? Most guys now are struggling. That's just a fact. It just is what it is. Even very good guys who are objectively on paper, objectively attractive, highly intelligent, good social skills, everyone is struggling. And so this is why actually something like the cold approach immersion that I offer, that's a real Kickstarter. It's a wide open opportunity right now. It's a very novel opportunity, and it's not for everybody because most guys are just not going to have the balls, to be honest. But if you've got the balls to do it, you're willing to learn, and also you're willing to be a bit afraid. Like my first approaches, I was definitely afraid, for sure. Some even to this day I'm still afraid, yeah, and some I even still bottle to this day. And you can see me like in infields, like basically crushing it in infields. There are still some approaches, like I don't know. There's a big group over there. There's like 7 chicks over there, or it's a mixed group, whatever. Would I want to go to an approach there solo? I don't know. Maybe I would. If I was on camera, I was with a wing, I'd maybe do it. But just solo, I'd just be like, I'll bottle that one. Let me find an easier one. So I understand this is not the easiest thing in the world, which is why you need first of all, you need training to actually be good, and there aren't many people who are good. I think I know most of them. And then second of all, that emotional support of just having someone alongside you is absolutely massive. Having an educated eye alongside you is absolutely massive. But if you've got those things and you've got the support afterwards as well, you've got a huge opportunity to actually meet someone. And what tends to happen is guys will they'll either get into approach and then they'll get something and they'll just go, you know what, awesome, fucking job done, perfect. And if I need to go back out into the field, I know Joseph's always around, so I can always message him if I need a bit of support again. That's one bracket. Another bracket is a small bracket of guys who get very obsessive with it. That's a small bracket. It's quite a small one though. And then there's another bracket, I would say, of guys who they do it for about a year, massively develop their confidence, get a few experiences under the belt, and then they go, you know what, let me focus more on a social circle and actually build up something where I've got a bit more passive income, so to speak. Those are the three kind of patterns. It's guys who are in and out, they get a girlfriend, boom, job done. Guys who get very into it, and then guys who get into it for about a year and then they go, you know what, I know I can do this now. It served its purpose. I don't longer feel anxious speaking to women, but I'm going to move on to building up a social circle as well. So those are the three routes people typically go down, and then you've got about 20% who will probably drop out as well. That's just the fact. There are some guys who they want it easy. They want it easier than it actually is going to be. It's like it's only going to be easy if you've made yourself into a top 1% guy or top 5%. For the rest of humanity, you're going to have to take your legs, you're going to have to be consistent. And I've got guys who I worked with, guys with like, the example I use is a guy with Asperger's syndrome, which is a fairly severe form of like, so it's a social disability really. The guy's very bright, he's a very cool guy, but stuff that's just fairly obvious to me, it's not so obvious to him. He had to go through borderline fucking hell to lose his virginity at 37 years old, but he did it. Because basically, as far as I'm concerned, he's actually a legend of cold approach, because if that guy can do it, what's your excuse? What's your excuse for dropping out other than you can't handle it? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? You want me to make it easier for you? I offer guys so much support. You've got like this channel, there's hundreds of videos up, you can contact me. So guys who drop out, I don't really know what to say to them, to be honest. So yeah, it's a tough world out there, and we're facing an extinction event, believe it or not. We're facing an extinction event, which is a low desire society where male provision and male attention has been commodified to become irrelevant. And thankfully, we actually have the testosterone to go and make it happen. Yeah, if it was just left to women, it would definitely be extinction. Like humanity would 100% not be reproducing, right? They're not doing anything, right? Which is why they should be responsive, like, to some extent anyway. They have to respond, they have to initiate. But it is an extinction level event we're actually seeing at the moment. 0.9 birth rate means this city, for every 100 people living here right now, in 3 generations will be 3 to 6 people. It's drastically abysmal level reproductive rates. Same with like all of Asia is totally fucked, completely fucked. Europe is going in a bad direction as well. Yeah, okay, Mali's doing well, there's 8 children per woman, but like Mali is basically like, it's below the level, way below the level. It's probably pre the level of the Bronze Age Europe, which is 3,000 years ago. Realistically, it's definitely pre-Greece for sure. It's definitely pre-Rome, and then pre-Christian Europe. So it's very, very far behind. Yeah, okay, they have 8 children. Okay, but what about actual high civilization? What about, would this be quite good to keep it continuing on? So yeah, boys, get cold approaching, get impregnating women. We need to build a future for humanity. That is the end game on this channel. you don't need to worry about that end game, to be honest. You're probably just worried about getting laid, getting a girlfriend. But eventually, once you start to sort those things out, you will start to think bigger. You'll start to think about, I'm 40 and I definitely think a lot about legacy. That's part of this channel, it's part of my business, it's part of the book that I wrote. That's the whole thing is about legacy. The next stage is obviously children, but I also want to take the guys who want to go through that gate, you know, which is going to be about 80% of guys, they are going to want to power through that gate. I want to take some of you boys along with me, and basically so that you guys have got, you've also got a great origin story, and you've got a great example to your sons and daughters, an example of a, you know, a bold masculine way of actually coming into meeting your woman. How much better is it to have that story? You know, the fact that we have to learn it doesn't fucking matter. Like all I'm doing is giving guys techniques and confidence to unleash what they already have. If a guy doesn't have it, I can't give it to him. If a guy doesn't already have it, I can't like make them into something they're not. Yeah. If a guy's coming in like, you know, morbidly obese, not that I would work with someone, but if a guy's morbidly obese, lazy basement dweller, I can give you all the skills, I give you all the support, it's not going to work. Yeah. So all I'm really doing is harnessing and giving structure and skill to a guy who's already got it, because you do need skill for daytime approach. It's not something you're just going to learn intuitively. There's a lot of things that you just wouldn't think of on your own. And then emotionally as well, it's, you know, you've got to take rejections, you've got to take no's, you've got to take girls not messaging you back. You've got to take all of that on the chin. Yeah, it's a lot to take on. So that's why having someone alongside you is just invaluable. So that's been a little bit of a cultural exploration of why it's so difficult for men these days. Both 90% of men, and even the men who are objectively 9s and 10s themselves. It's tough for everyone. It's a tough game for everybody. And yeah, let's not be like Colombia boys. Yeah, these guys are fucked it, I'm telling you. All their major cities, Bogota and Medellin, it's gone. 100 years time, it's done. Yeah. And so, I mean, it is done anyway, to be honest. Like, there is no way to, at scale, it won't be possible to reverse what's coming. So what I want to do is make sure that my ancestors, my great descendants, I mean, do you know how advantageous it's going to be if 10 of us in Bratva, we just form together, we have a few children each, that's 30 in the next generation. Yeah, that's 90 in the one afterwards. And it's 270 in the following generation, right? If we just form the right ideology and give them the right support, yeah, this is like a new nation, right? This is a new elite. And there will be no competition because most of the bright, dynamic people in the developed countries they are doomed to die off. This is the great selection. And this is the thing, when in like 10 years time, I'll be 50, and this is the message I'm going to start to plug now. Now being an alpha male and being whatever, a seducer and stuff, that is going to be secondary to do you even have children? That in 10, 20 years, it's not going to be how much money you've got. It's not going to be how educated you are, how many, you know, your brands, how many girlfriends you've got. The cool thing is going to be how many children have you got? What, the guy's got 3 children, one alpha. That's what it's going to be, I'm telling you. And it's going to be the same for the girls. Well, she's got 3 children, wow. What, she got a husband, she's at home, she's got 3 children. Oh my God. Yeah, that is the plan. And yeah, I don't push, or I don't actually even need to push this. I'm just making guys aware of this who come across this channel. That will be a stage you'll get to. You may be not there yet. You know, for me, it came and went. It came in my early mid-20s and then went away again when I realized I didn't understand how to date. I didn't understand women, and I didn't have access to the type of woman I'd even want to be with. And then I just kind of went on this tirade for a long time. And then now in my late 30s and now in my 40s, it's definitely like, it's pretty high up on the list, so it's going to happen. And guys I know who are in this space, there's guys as old as 50 in this space, it's a major motivator for some of these guys, man. I look forward to seeing the first cold approach babies coming through. My mastermind's been going for about 3 years, and we've had engagements, we've had long-term girlfriends. I don't think we've had a child come through yet. but that's definitely on the cards. It's definitely on the cards. So it's just a phase. It's something that the majority of men will come towards. There'll be a certain portion who don't, but that shouldn't be above about 20%. Yeah, we can afford to lose like 20% of guys. That's no big deal. They can do other stuff. That's fine. But we can't have like 80% of men not having children, dude. That is totally fucked. So let's have a look at the comments here, boys. Yeah, so yeah, family is a new fuck you. Randy, this dude is gay. Donald Trump, oh, you're a real alpha. Okay. There's always some strange people. Like, if you're going to insult me, at least learn how to spell you. For God's sakes, mate. I'll get you out. But yeah, let's get him out. Let's block him. I just block people who are stupid on the channel. You can watch if you want, but I'm not letting you speak on my channel. So yeah, Jay's a good example. Yeah, he's the guy who came and did an immersion with me, and is just I think, I mean, not to speak about individual cases, but he's one of the guys who, he kind of knows he's always got it now. He knows if he needs to return to the well, so to speak, he can, which puts you in a really good position for like your actual relationship. It's not based on scarcity. This was the only girl I could get on. Yeah, it's like, no, I could have gotten other girls. I just like this one, and it's going well. But yeah, I think family is going to be the new flex. I agree. I'm starting to see that, actually. I'm starting to see that. Yeah. Like one of my friends, he's on the apps, and he's probably one of the most. He's quite funny because we've talked about it, how there's a whole migration situation in the UK, but there is an angle for men which is like, well, what if I just date all these exotic girls from all over the world? And so that's basically what my friend is doing, and I swear he's got about 9 girlfriends. He goes on like Asian apps and stuff like that. It's completely ridiculous, but he treats them all as like a potential wife. Like it's interesting because he's dating seriously. Like, he actually is dating seriously, but he's Machiavellian. Every girl thinks that he's the main one, right? So he's playing this middle line between the husband and the boyfriend and the lover, exciting, dangerous one. It's very interesting observing him. I may even talk about him at one point, but like on a full live. I don't think he'd accept being interviewed. But he's got about 9 different girlfriends currently. And part of me does think, I'm like, dude, this is a bit of a waste of your time. I've told him this. It's like, consistently seeing these girls, why not just bang them and then move on? It's a waste of your time. You could be starting a business, you could be having a family, you could be doing other things. I think he's a fiend anyway, so yeah, be interesting to see where everybody ends up. Yeah, it is going to be the new flex. If you're still on, Jay, by the way, I'm going to be in Serbia in 2 weeks. I'm going out on the 8th. I think I'm going to do, I've not decided, I'll do minimum 2 weeks, most likely a month in Belgrade, from the 8th till early September. Yeah, there's a few guys knocking around Europe who've expressed an interest in coming out. I'm just looking forward to being back there. It's been a while, it's been nearly a year since I was last there. It's been 11 months. Yeah, so winding things down here, definitely in Medellin. It's been an interesting experience, man, definitely. I feel pretty qualified on Colombia now, because when you're in one city, if you're doing a lot of approach, you meet women from other cities, you can start to see the characteristics of the girls from different cities. Like this girl in front of me now, I guarantee she's from the north. Absolutely guarantee it, she's from the coast, just from the look of her. So yeah, boys, stay strong. If you're interested in actually resolving this issue, you're interested in daytime approach, you want a legacy basically, you would like to find a wife, you would like to reproduce, let's just keep it simple, you would like your genes to pass on, you'd like to have that, nice son or daughter running around, and you want to have a nice story as an opening, I think in-person meetings are really going to be the way to go. And so daytime approach is First of all, it's great training, full stop, for your whole social life and social confidence. Secondly, you will meet girls through this means. And then, yeah, thirdly, it will improve you as a person as well. For me, I'm used to like physical discomfort. I train, I run. I'm used to that. I'm used to sucking it up in work and pushing on. But I'm not used to like the visceral I was never used to the visceral discomfort of like daytime approach. That was something that was quite debilitating for me. Even though I was experienced at nighttime, I found the daytime really crippling solo. And so for some reason, just the idea of it, I found terrifying. And so to have actually got over that to the point now it's completely normal to me, and I just don't even care at all, really. Even on my own, it's still normal to me in like countries I've never been to. I think it's a big social development. I wouldn't be able to do lives like this in the street and talk and things like that. I wouldn't be able to do it if I'd not done so much approach. I think they've gone hand in hand. Oh mate, you're there as well. Yeah, you'll probably see me knocking around, mate. Are you going to be around the castle? You've got your whole system. You've got your whole situation there. It's like you're just such a good example of a guy who's like understands possibility. I think half the issue is guys don't understand. You know, it would be possible for you to take a trip to a country, was selected. You do some immersion, you do some cold approach. You might even find a girlfriend, or you might even find a few girlfriends, or you might just have a great weekend and learn a great skill and find a new place. It's amazing. It's amazing to me that people don't consider that as a possibility. I think it just takes a certain level of intelligence, to be honest, to understand that it is a possibility. Yeah. Well, yeah. Give me a shout, mate, on your spare evening. I don't know what my schedule is at all, to be honest with you. I think I'll just be enjoying it. Honestly can't wait. I can't wait. I'm debating where to move. I may go to this, my favourite landlord, even though the place is a bit more expensive. He loves drinking rakia with me, so like, he's just a complete lunatic Serb. So I may be around, what's it called? St. Savas and whatever that area around there is called. I think that's probably where I'll be staying, I would imagine. I think there's going to be some boys who are into the approach stuff. There's going to be some boys there as well. There'll be the Russian guys there, no doubt. I think they go out 365 days a year, scaring the poor women of sun. Yeah. I'm genuinely torn, like, for my life, I'm genuinely torn between, like, the Slavic worlds and Dominican. It's really like 50-50 actually for me. The Dominican is easier. Everything is easier for me apart from the heat. That's the only downside. I love I love the Balkans, man. I just love all those countries. Yeah, Georgia. Well, I've got there was a guy I did an immersion with who's from Georgia, from Tbilisi. So kind of got an open invite to go out there. Prices look good as well. Very nice guy, very smart guy as well. I've heard good things about Georgia. Yeah, so many places. I'd like to do Albania as well. Dude, Albanian girls are so fit as well. They're so fit. My favorite all-time approach in Serbia was the Albanian policewoman outside St. Sava's Cathedral. That's my number one all-time Serbia approach. It was so fucking good. She was a fucking policewoman coming to do some Interpol training or something like that. She was so fit as well. She loves to fucking shoot. She had to go, so I never went on the day, but we planned like a shooting day, but it never happened. SB, yeah. No, dude, I'll be there at least 2 weeks. Probably most likely a month, to be honest. Yeah, if you can get down, mate, SB, then come down in August. And then I honestly would. There's other things I would happily stay out in the Balkans until like Christmas, but there's a few things I've got to take care of in the UK, so I do have to go back to the UK for probably at least 6 weeks. Yeah, dude. I think about Bosnia a lot, man. I think about Bosnia. Banju, mate. Also Sarajevo as well. What a place. What a fucking place. Oh, man. Yeah, I feel like I'm still just getting started with the Balkans, to be honest. I've still not done Bulgaria. I've still not done Albania. I've only spent about a week in Slovenia. I'd like to spend a bit more time there. I've not done Croatia. Croatia's more expensive, so it's not quite as appealing. But yeah, there's more places, man. There's more places for sure. Also Kosovo as well. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. You got Athens mission. Yeah, we can leave. Definitely. This is kind of the half of the point of this channel, is like to just bring good guys together who are able to, you know, like, it just enriches your life. You got people you could go hang out with, do stuff with around the world. I mean, and people like, I know the people of like who've done immersions and stuff with me. I know their character already. I know they're all men who've got character. Anyone who's done an immersion, who's put themselves forward for it. I've never had a guy, to be honest, who's not done. I never had a guy who just came and bottled every approach. And guys barely bottle any approaches, to be honest. Even guys who are shitting themselves. So to me, that shows a lot of character. And so yeah, it's good to have guys like, you know, to be introduced to more people like this. Yeah. Athens, oh mate, oh, what a place, what a place. One of my favorite all-time 2-week missions was Athens. Fucking crushed it. Like, my best friend actually, he's from Colombia, ironically. He never comes back, he can't stand Colombia, but he's out in Athens. I assumed everyone here would be like him. That's what I was assuming. And actually I'm realizing he's probably a throwback even in Colombia. He's probably like Colombian guys who were back in the 70s. That's what I think about my friend. Yeah, he lives in Athens. We had the most unbelievable time. Nightlife is really fucking good out there. There's a really good Latin quarter as well. A lot of beautiful Orthodox churches as well. The Aegean fucking Sea, the ruins. Oh my God. Incredible place. Yeah, boys. So yeah, I'll be in touch anyway. It's good to hopefully bring a few new people together as well. Maybe some guys. There's guys who've got girlfriends who've contacted me through the channel. Maybe I'm putting too much information up. There's several guys who've just applied the information, taken the inspiration from the channel, and have gone out and got girlfriends. And they've contacted me and been like, yeah, if you're ever in this part of the world, do you fancy a drink, let me know. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know where the shape of this channel's going actually right now. Some of the infields I've done in recent weeks, like I've got 9 infields. I need to adjust a few things on the settings because apparently they're coming out with like all auto dubbed, which is horrible. So I'll adjust those settings so you can get the original voice. But some of those infields, I think there's one of them, it got 50 views. I was looking at it like, objectively, that infield was almost perfect. There are some approaches where I even look at it as a coach and just analyze myself and go, yeah, you did this wrong, you did that wrong, but you still got the job done, well done. It's always good, especially on camera. But then there's a few where I look at it and go, that's perfect, that's a perfect approach. There's nothing more in approach, there's nothing else you can do. Like, you're not gonna bang her in the street. That's as good as it's gonna get. And there's one I did and it's got like 50, 60 views. I'm going, mate. A couple of years ago, I was putting up like pretty average stops and they were getting like 1,000 views. So I need to have a think about how I'm presenting the material, how it fits in. I'm starting to think, I think with all the AI stuff that's come through, I think a lot of guys' views are actually down. And I also think that footage is almost going to become background footage to like, I think the footage may become almost background footage to an explainer video. Ephraim did really well on an explainer video. He's got like good guys coming forward from that. I think he got about 50,000 views or something. So that might be the next route to take. I mostly enjoy making the videos on, I mostly enjoy the deeper stuff, like the cultural stuff, because, you know, it's all right showing tactics of how guys can pull and we can all, you know, get something out of this life. That's all good. But then there is a deeper question is, why can someone like my dad, who's 5'5", how can he be a Chad just because he goes to play football once a week in like the 70s, you know, and objectively has no skills at all, other than just backing himself. And then guys nowadays, like, it's a much bigger struggle. It's a vastly bigger struggle. And then like seeing what I've seen in the nightlife scene, how is there one guy who's fucking 20 girls a month, and there's another guy who's getting nobody, and he's as attractive. So there's the deeper stuff that's going on, the cultural stuff that I find interesting, and then obviously connecting it to all these different currents. I enjoy these videos a lot more. They're a lot more interesting to make. So yeah, I don't know what the direction is going to be over the next year. One thing's for certain, I will be getting much better equipment. There's going to be actually good footage coming through, like, you know, better. I've been on the road, so I'm using like a shit phone, no proper audio. It's all very, very amateur. But the thing that saved it is the content is genuine. Fortunately, there's guys out there who are genuine frauds. You've got great setup, great lighting in the backgrounds. They've even got 1 or 2 infields in some cases. Some guys I know for a literal fact, because it's not a very big community of guys who are coaching. I know for a literal fact are not very good. Who put themselves forward as coaches. Kind of depressing. That's why I'm very selective about the people I actually collaborate with, even as wings. The guys that you see who are alongside me, we're in different markets. They're much younger than me, but they're very, very good. They're very good, and like realistically, I'm advanced in this at this point. So that isn't currently been reflected really by the quality of my equipment and the quality of the production. So I'm gonna have to improve that. So yeah, we see what's going to happen in 2025, 2026. I see this as like, I wouldn't be surprised if by 2027 I'm doing some pretty off-piste shit. I think if I'm in this so much longer doing like infields and stuff, I'm just going to be bored. I'm going to be like, right, infield Kabul. Look, boys, we're going to Afghanistan. What I learned about daytime approach from the Taliban, you know, it's going to be some shit like that. Or the CCP have invited me to give some, CCP is shitting itself about birth rates. They've invited me to give some daytime approach skills to their top 2,000 men in the CCP. We'll see where it goes. But yeah, the plan for the next month, I've still got another 5 or 6 infields from Colombia that they're pretty elite, to be honest with you. Like, as I say, I analyse them myself. There's a few where I'm like, your posture, you've been doing a bit too much bench press. Your posture could have been a little bit better there. But that's about it, to be honest with you. There was one I did a close, which the next one, I closed the girl. She's walking away from me. She's on the phone, and I've not even. All I've seen is her ass. I'm basically closing her ass. That's the reason I went out after her. And she's on the phone, and she stays on the phone for the entire interaction. I take her phone off her and speak to her friend, and then I close her. It's like, that is essentially an impossible approach, which I've just turned on its head, and, you know, managed to get a girl's contact. I think I actually messaged her as well. I think we might have messaged a bit. It's like, just to show guys what is possible, you know. You don't need to do that. Realistically, it's not necessary at all. But like, I've got 2 arms and 2 legs. If I can do it, there's a lot of guys who can do it. Yeah, so challenging approaches like that are interesting to do. Maybe I'll go and do a session with Vladimir Putin. Maybe Moscow will be on the cards sooner. hopefully soon, to be honest with you. We'll see if I get clearance. We'll see if I get clearance, or maybe go out to the Congo. We'll see. Was it the Russian mercenaries in the Congo as well? Go and hang out with them. Let's have a look here. Yeah, the one with the tea. Yeah, she was good. I enjoyed speaking to that girl. She's a nice girl. She's told me about, like, she used to drink too much and stuff. You see how deep you can sometimes get with people, like on your first interaction. Because she gave it back to me and I was like, oh, we're all in. She's already telling me, basically, she probably told me maybe she used to have an alcohol problem. That's basically what she told me. And I'm like, let's fucking go, let's talk. You know, that's uncommon to get something that deep that quickly. But that was really cool. That was really cool. I felt like it was a good moment with that girl. What else have we got? Yeah, the tech setup is, you know, my friend Balthus, he sort of mentioned this the other day. He's like, dude, your channel hasn't actually started yet, and he is right. He is right. Yeah, I like the rough and rugged walking out into the streets. Like even today, I complimented a couple of girls during this live, or at least one girl during the live. It's like I enjoy being out in the street and actually practicing what I preach. But yeah, the tech setup, it has to improve ultimately, because otherwise there is certain guys who just can't, they won't be able to look past that in the first 30 seconds. And then if you get 10 people clicking off in like the first 10 seconds, that's it, your video's cooked, it's done. And so this is kind of, you know, this is what you realize. It's like, I'll probably also look at maybe some other avenues for promoting the service as well, because just YouTube, to get very good at YouTube is a profession in of itself. Like, and even then you might not make it, but it's a profession in of itself. Like Ephraim's full time at the moment, and I looked at some of his infields, great infields. They got like 400 or 500 views, and I'm like, that deserves at least 4,000 or 5,000, and he's going full time with the editing. So it's definitely a tricky game right now, but I think the reality of the quality of the service, it will eventually speak for itself. That's a good point though about some slightly larger channels, maybe people with the sort of 20 to 30,000 type of subs. That could be quite interesting. I'd be interested to speak really with people who are outside of the male dating space and manosphere. I'm not so interested in those guys, to be honest. There's people like I see people's offers and things. I just think, you're not even good, prof. You're not even good. There's a guy who's got an offer on dating at work. I'm like, bro, that is not an offer. That's a suicide. You're basically, here's a suicide vest, mate. There you go. There's a bomb attached to it. There you go. It's like, what offer can you possibly about dating at work that is not complete fucking suicide? And the stuff on apps, yeah, you can use AI on your apps, sure. You can, yeah. But I like the way we do things. That's a good suggestion. It's interesting. That's because I was thinking something similar as well. Try and get in touch with 10 channels who are in the 20 to 30,000 subs, kind of like early on in their own careers, but may have some intelligent guys watching. Yeah. With the plane flying over here. There's 2 airports in Medellin. One of them's on the outskirts, international flights. Then there's another one right in the centre of the city. It's got to be something dodgy about that. Something dodgy about a city this size having 2 airports. Yeah, this is. It's an interesting, like, I can't quite figure out my whole offer on my own at the moment. So it's going to be a process to actually figure out what is the offer. Sometimes it's hard to see yourself how potential audience members would see you and what the offer actually potentially could be. But I think it's something along the lines of, you know, delineating some of the cultural issues, delineating where the future is actually going, what is going to be expected of guys, and how we can definitely thrive in an environment which, it's not an environment that our parents and grandparents had to thrive in. We can still thrive in this environment. And I'll just finish on this, because I was thinking about this morning. There's so much negativity, and I've probably been quite negative on this live just because I'm delineating problems. But has there ever been a better opportunity for a man in 2026? Most people have got access to some kind of remote work, or can get access to it within a year or two. Everyone's got access to relatively low-cost international travel. You've got channels like mine showing you how to cold approach. You've got a few good coaches even helping you with it. You've got women from all corners of the earth. There's 4.5 billion. You can choose a girl from whatever country and culture you find interesting. You don't have to this is not some crazy thing anymore. It's actually easy, And the girls are just waiting for it in many cases. I've talked about, there are some low desire places, but in some places the girls are they're waiting. They are literally just there waiting for their hero to come along. So the opportunity that we've got is, the opportunity we've got in 2026 is fucking spectacular. I'm in Medellin, for fuck's sake, dating Venezuelan singers at 40 years old. It's ridiculous. The first weekend out with Ephraim, he's going off having his adventure in the city. I'm having my adventure with the girl from the coast. We're going on this big fucking tour around the whole city. I don't need any more adventures at this stage, but it was this is fucking amazing. My granddad, he didn't have access to any of this, yeah? And, I've got options in Serbia for a wife, I've got options in Dominican for a wife. I just pick, and I'm not that different to anybody else. Anyone could, obviously we're all individuals, but that's not a path that would be impossible for everyone, Some guys might be limited by language, but you can still go to places where they speak good English. So that's what I'll finish on. There's never been a better option than 2026. And the great thing is as well, even here in Colombia, the guys have given up the ghost. There's all these fucking femboys. They're all wearing they're all wearing pink backpacks. I don't know what's going on. But they're not even gay, dude. I don't know what is going on. This femcel shit is really fucking weird. I'm definitely too old to understand that one. But we've got no competition. Me and Ephraim, we just steamrolled everybody in a week. It's what? I thought we were going to be struggling here. No, steamroll everybody. There's no competition at all, So it's such a massive opportunity. It takes a bit of balls, it takes a bit of knowledge and know-how, but for a certain bracket who are willing to put the work in, it's not that much work. It's pretty fun, We do make it pretty fun. The world is our oyster, boys. The world is our oyster. We can build our army, for the future generations. This could be a pivotal moment in history. This is going to be an evolutionary bottleneck, and it's most people just tapped out. Guys just became passive. Entire nation states just went down. But for those who pass through, I'll need to write up the ideology for future generations as well. The slow march towards global domination. We will re-establish the Greek city-state. This is a dream, off the coast of Panama. Got an island ready for us. It's about the spirit, man. It's about the spirit. So yeah, boys, we'll leave things there. I'll catch you boys on the next one. There's a really nice infield even is out there on the internet. So that's the next one. That'll be out, I think, on Sunday. So look out for that one. Jay and SB, good to speak to you both, boys. I'll hopefully catch you both in the Balkans soon. Take it easy, boys.